Hi, this is Rose. And before we begin, have you charged like a bull?
Meet Rose Odette, tech trailblazer, EMR pioneer, and $100 million founder. Her book, Charge Like a Bull, unveils 7 strategies to scale without investors. Crush your limits, dominate emerging markets, forge unstoppable alliances. Ready to break through? Get your copy on Amazon now.
Hey, grab your copy of Charge Like a Bull and Charge Like a Bull game plan book. You don't need book 1 to get the game plan book. Skip that 450 pages if you want to get right to work like I usually do. They'll both be out on Amazon waiting for you, and you'll find the link in the show notes. And a sneak peek, if you're more into Audible books, the Audible book will be ready at the end of June of 2025, and I've already listened to the first 30 minutes, and it's amazing. I did not narrate it. I hired a professional actor to narrate it, and thank God I did. Anyway, see you in the podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bullish on Business. And welcome back. As I said, super duper excited today because today's guest, he isn't just a leader or an investor. He's an inventor. And I think we've never had a real inventor on the show before. So Keith, you're first. He is an inventor that is solving real problems, technical problems that most folks just take for granted or don't even think about until it's a mess on their kitchen or bathroom floor. We welcome Keith R. Bunn Sr. He is the founder of Bunn Ventures LLC. Keith has patented plumbing innovations that make a tangible difference out in the world. For example, one of his inventions is a snap-together pipe coupling assembly that helps pipes seal tight without glue or special tools, dramatically reducing leaks and simplifying installs. He also developed a non-burring device that cleans up rough edges of plastic piping, both inner and outer, to prevent those seal failures and makes connections much more reliable. So we'll be talking plumbing technology, entrepreneurship, and how you take ideas from a sketch pad to a patent. Keith, it's great to have you here. So let's dive in. How you doing today, Keith?
I'm doing just great. It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, let's get started. Tell us about what inspired you to launch your business in the first place, Bunn Ventures LLC. How did your extensive background in construction and retail influence that decision?
Well, let's start at the beginning. What caused me to? What was the trigger to create a business? Basically, I had a business. I was in a business. I was doing construction. And I would take you back a little bit further than that. I am a builder. I have 65 years in the construction industry. I have 35 years in corporate retail. So that's the history where I'm coming from. I was working for a company, and we were building a new hospital, and I got injured on the job. And instead of going to the ER, because I was already there, I came home. And what I did is I blew a shoulder. Okay. And consequently, I was headed to surgery. Come back from surgery and went back to work, working on a $800,000 house on a lake. I'm throwing the decking up on the roof from the ground. Now, I'm not a big guy. I'm a little guy, but I've been pretty strong all my life. And when I throw the plywood up on the roof, I re-injured the shoulder and blew the other shoulder.
Ooh.
Now I'm back into surgery again. And I'm waking up in the recovery room, and the doctor is shaking my foot, and he was telling me, your working days are over. I was 60 years old.
Hmm.
And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, something went wrong in surgery. It's not repairable. So you're just not going to be able to work no more. Well, I went, you hear about race cars going from 0 to 60. I went from 80 hours a week to 0, and expected me to sit there and watch the cars go by and count them. Well, that's not my DNA. So long story short, I surprised a lot of people. I went back to school.
What?
I was 60 years old, and I went back to school. I was the grandpa in the class. And guess who mentored the kids?
You.
Grandpa. Okay, so I took computer classes where I could use my experience where it wasn't physical. And or if I could go physical, I could pick and choose the ones I physically could handle. And that's when I started a company called Do It For You.
Hmm.
I would, whatever you wanted to do, I'd do it for you. Okay. And I brought my grandson with me on many jobs for almost 20 years. And we were doing a bath makeover, a complete gut and redo. And we were at the tail end of the project. And I said to him, I said, Stephen, go down and hook up the drains. And I knew he could do it. So he went down in the basement, and he kept saying, turn the water on, turn it off, it leaks. After a few times of doing that, I went down in the basement. I mean, what's going on? He turned and looked at me. The veins were sticking out of his neck. He was so angry. His face was beet red, and the fire was flashing out of his eyes. He was angry. He said, if they only made it like this, it wouldn't leak. I said, what? He thought I was scolding him. No, I said, listen. And so doing AutoCAD from my schooling, I came home, I began to draw. I began to design. And one thing led to another. I probably had over 500 drawings.
Wow.
Uh, um, I, the whole thing was I was trying to do the same thing that everybody else was doing, and that is repair the faults without changing what was causing them. And in the middle of this episode, I thought to myself, if we're going to change, then we have to change to make a change. So I said, I have to walk away from the sea of sameness. If we're going to correct this, we have to change how we think. And I have to find out why and how and what's causing the problem. So I begin to tear into what we have and begin to pick it apart and find the faults. And boy, I'll tell you, what we have today that they're using is full of failures. It's a complete failed engineering program. What I've learned was that the um, laws of physics have been tampered with, and you're going to get failures when you do that. So I began to put together a complete new idea. How are you going to make this work? And I began to put ideas together, and I went to the Grand Valley University for some help. They assigned a mentor to me, and we began to work. And he said, Keith, he said, it's a great idea, but it'll never work. He said, I said, well, Tom, it's going to work. He said, I'm telling you, it can't work. I said, it's going to work. He said, it can't work. I said, it is going to work. He said, I am a physicist, and I know it can't work. And 6 months later, I handed him a prototype. And he sat there, we were in a meeting with the Grand Valley people and manufacturers. And he come in the room and he sat down right next to me, and I had a prototype there. I picked it up and I took it apart, put it together, and he watched everything I did. And then he said, "Let me see that." So he played with it. And he turned and looked at me and smiled. He said, "You did it, didn't you?" I said, "Yes, I told you I'd do it." And from there, I completely what it is, and I'm sure people's going to want to know, well, what was it that you did? It's how do you stop something from leaking when you just bump it and it comes apart? Well, that's an engineering blunder. And the water flowing into a coupler cup will eventually pull a vacuum on the seal, which will reduce the ability or reduce the chance of a leak. And what we have today, it flows out of the coupler cup, which puts a pressure on the seals that increases the problem or increases the possibility of a leak. So I reversed that. The other thing I did is that when you have two pieces of plastic and you're coming out of a mold injection company, a prop, it is inevitable. None of those are going to be 100% flawless. Then you have the problem of expansion and contraction. You have different parts coming together, and if they expand and contract at a different ratio, your seals are not going to break. I mean, they're not going to work. They're going to break. Water will find the smallest way to escape, and it will find it. So what I did is I stopped using plastic to plastic seal. I designed a coupler cup, specially designed a coupler cup that worked with a rubber gasket, of a special design rubber gasket that has 3 sealing ribs within the gasket. Now there's a reason for the 3 ribs. 1, it gives you 3 times the sealing capacity. 2, if you want to keep things parallel, which you need to do in a connection, you need to have at least 3 points of contact. Now, with the 3 points of contact, you have the 3 ribs. If the part gets bumped, which we put stuff in and out of the cabinet, we bump those pipes. It's inevitable. Those 3 ribs act as a shock absorber. It absorbs the shock and never breaks the seal.
Wow, that's brilliant.
And then the center, if the top or bottom wants to break, you still have the center one that pivots, which will prohibit the leak. Then I went a step further. If you have plastic plumbing parts with threads, there's a possibility, a big possibility, of cross-threading that thread.
Right. That would kind of like strip it, like in layman term.
If you cross-thread it, you strip it exactly right.
Right.
You will never tighten it, and it will never seal.
It'd be
so I took the threads away. There's no threads. I created a
So you really did come up with, you like threw away the old and you just invented from scratch.
I went from scratch, from zero to a complete new concept. Everything is brand new. Everything is all patented. I created a cam system lock on the nut and the coupler cup, so it goes together and it connects and seals with 1/4 of a turn. Now that improves productivity.
1/4? You're not in there cranking it. You just
1/4 turn and you're locked into place.
You're not like
no, and you can do it by hand.
Wow.
Now
this is amazing. What a great start. And it started with your grandson.
Yeah, it started with my grandson.
And his name was Steve. Is that what you said?
Stephen, yeah. Now, you
Steven.
mentioned one that snaps together. I also have, that's also patented. That's my backup program for a competition not be able to come in and horn in. That keeps my market advantage over the competitors. I have patented connections where I have improvement on what I've already done. So when they step in and try to interfere, I have backup programs to go in and compete. I continue to keep my competitive edge.
You do. I notice on your back wall, you've got your patents listed on both sides of your wall. So
Yeah,
that's
I have
really cool.
I have
So
seven I have 7 patents.
wow, good job. Wow, that's amazing. I am so proud to know you, and I just got to keep digging. Let me dig a little deeper here.
Yeah.
So, regarding innovation and your focus, this resolves some real world. Can you tell us, like, let's get real. Let's get real here. What problems in today, let's say in someone's home or office, what is the problem you're fixing?
The drain system that connects to the drain to the sink. There's a P trap in there that keeps the sewer gas from coming into your house. That's always one connection of that P trap is underwater 100% of the time. And that connection is the connection that produces 80 to 90% of the leaks. And that's what I changed. I changed that connection so it never leaks.
Wow.
So
That's a
uh,
great story, and I love that you have all those patents, and that you have your grandson and you did this, kind of came up with a spark. So you are really into getting a patent. I'm just gonna share with you, I actually don't own the patent, but I got a patent when I worked for IBM. So I
yeah,
know how that process can be long and tedious. How
oh my,
long did it take you to work through that whole intellectual property process?
6 years,
Wow.
6 years. Um, and getting a patent should be fun. It was not fun.
No.
It's been very bumpy. One of the things I would pass on to anybody who wants to consider doing a patent, because patents are very expensive. Uh, Attorneys are very expensive. My attorneys cost me $650 an hour, and so well, little sites. We had a meeting with my corporate attorney, and I was in the conference room, and he walked in. I took my watch and set it down in front of me. He's, "What's that for?" I said, "You're expensive. Get going."
Yeah, yeah, you know it. You know, when you've been there, done that, you call them out right as
Oh yeah,
they
let's
hit the ground. I love it.
yeah.
So
So
let's talk about, well, I just wanted to throw in, I heard that they're starting a patent office in Detroit. And for whatever reason, that's supposed to make things better for us in Michigan, but we'll watch that space.
well, here's the deal. Here, and these are some of the things I didn't know because I was brand new at this. Patent attorneys should not be expected to know everything about everything. So my attorney, who was an engineer, didn't understand the concept of what was going on, and never sought help in understanding. So consequently, there was a lot of mistakes made. Um, she kept saying, "You can't have it. You can't have it. You can't have it." And I'm saying, finally, I said, "Listen, you send me everything that the examiner has given you. I want to see it. I want to see what I'm being compared against." I sat down for months and I compared what I had with and all the my claims against their claims, word for word, item for item, line for line, drawing for drawing, and I come up with my rebuttal, send it back to her. She put it in legal terms, and I won my patent. but she was ready to throw me under the bus. And then I'm gonna say this. You're from the legal background, okay? So you understand what I'm gonna say. Money talks and bullshit walks, okay? And I have been beat up pretty bad by competition when I don't even have a product on the market. That is a nice plus for me, because that's telling me what I have is really important, because my competition is afraid right now, because I'm
Yeah,
gonna take my,
I'm sure. We got to get you to market. So let's keep going. Let's get
okay.
this thing on the, we need to get this in the marketplace. And so with that in mind, I see our next question is about Made in USA. Can we talk about when we are going to be able to buy this?
Well, hopefully I can have a launch probably in the next 18 months. And that's really going to push. I cannot manufacture and sell without going through all the coding people. The first two that I have to face is ASME and ASTM. They regulate everything I do,
And
everything.
that's what, and to be honest, that's what my friend in Traverse City, I have a friend who teaches plumbing up in Traverse City,
Yeah.
and he brought that up. And so if you are interested in any collaboration to work on that, you know, we'll definitely hook you guys together. And so that process is going to take 18 months to be blessed, if you will, by the standards organizations.
Well, yeah, because what they do is I have to be in manufacturing it. Now, they have to have all this information. It has to be stamped on the part, every part.
Right.
Now, they're going to go into the manufacturing facility and pull 5 items out of process. There'll be no authorization stamps on those parts. They will let me put a sticker on those parts, but I can't sell them. Then they will take the parts and they will test them. If they like the test results, they will assign a number of authorization. Then I have to go to the International Plumbing Council. I have to go to there's like 5 different plumbing forums, code people out there. I have to pass every one of them, or I can't sell on the market. So it's a long process of giving the stuff to them, letting them test it. And once that's done, I have a plethora of people wanting the product from all over the world. I don't know where these people come from. A couple of weeks ago, I got an endorsement from a plumber in Italy. They're from all over the world. A little project, Rose, has turned into a global event.
I know it has, and I want to see this go. So you're if I were to say, are you raising money right now for people to invest so that you can get these, get the prototypes made so that the standards organizations can do their due diligence?
Yeah. So once I get the paperwork, I'm almost ready to complete right now. I got to put things together. I will be approaching the funding people. I was told that I did. A friend of mine who's a money guy, he said, Keith, you don't have a funding problem. You have a vendor problem. He said, you're not going to be denied the money. You just have to find out who's going to give it to you.
Fantastic.
And
Is it confidential who you are going to go seek your investment, or is it open, or how are you going to VC or private equity, or how crowdsource? What's your funding what are your ideas about that? Like the mechanics.
Probably a VC or an angel investor if they The company I want, a little back, the company I wanted to make my product is in Pennsylvania,
Oh, okay.
and their quality is superior to anybody. And the other thing is um, mold prices. If I'm told by the people in China, every 50,000 parts is a new mold. I'm looking at a million parts. How many molds am I going to buy? That's got a lot of money. Well, the guy in Pennsylvania says, you buy the first one, and he said the rest of them are on me.
Wow.
So you know he's not going to want to make a mold, too many molds, so he's going to give me a quality mold. The second thing is he will do an inventory control. He will also do sub-assembly, and he will also do a fulfillment center. So that's a big wrap right there. And then comparing that with overseas, and I have 2 Chinese companies right now bidding. They've even called me on the phone from China wanting.
So have you vetted the Pennsylvania company for competency?
None of them yet, because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
Yeah, that makes
And,
sense.
and I have had 3 people from United Arab Emirates contact me, and they said, "How much do you want, and how long a loan do you want?" I said, I'm looking at a 5-year loan, and I'm looking at $20 million." And the one guy said, "Only 5 years?" I said, "Yes, and you will be paid off in 3."
I love it. Oh,
And
Pete, this is awesome.
my attorney says, get all the investors out of the program in 3 years, even if you have to borrow the money, get them out.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you'll never get rid of them.
So you're gonna call this a 20 million a loan.
Yes.
Not it. They don't get equity.
Well, it's a negotiable thing.
Yeah, I know it's you get when you get to the table, you never know what negotiations come down.
Yeah.
So you've had some lessons. You've been in the corporate world with retail. You've done construction for decades. What skill? You know, we've got an audience of business people out here, and I'm sure they're very intrigued by your background. I have to say I'm very intrigued by all of it. Like this new venture is I'm at the edge of my seat. I want to see, and I know you share a lot with me and I appreciate it. I'm curious about the project plan for all of those standards organizations, but that's down in a rabbit hole. We can talk about that offline. But what is your background in retail and construction that really you had to shift your mindset from that to this inventor slash entrepreneur? That had to really, that's a different person.
Well, and I call that background the marinade for what I'm at. The advantages for each one. Let's take the construction industry. I understand, it gives me a good understanding as to where the application is, what the problems are, and how it can, today's problem can cost the contractor lots of money. So I understand it because I've been in that same mold. The other thing is in retail, my background in retail puts me on the other side of the fence, so I understand where the people are that I'm going to be contacting. It gives me the ability to talk to them at their level in their industry, so we can actually really communicate and build a customer relationship. And it's about relationship building when you start and being in the position I'm in. It's a whole different position than I've had, because now I'm the switch that turns things on. And so the background is the marinade that's putting all this stuff together, and allows me to be steps ahead of my competition, simply because I have been on the other side of the fence. I
And I will tell
understand
you
what,
that, yeah, you're a member of our Bullish on Business Mastermind. And during those mastermind meetings, you always bring so much to the table for the newer business people. As a matter of fact, your analogy around being a magnet, I bet you drew that from possibly your retail experience that we need to, if we're trying to attract clients and customers or investors, there has to be a magnetic pull. And I think that's what you're kind of saying, that you have that experience in retail, so you know what that means to draw people into what your product is offering.
well, you're exactly right, Rose. I mean, you use an example. You're out there and you're helping people, and you're helping people understand where they're at, where their flaws are, how they can correct them. That's what you're made of. That's your DNA. And that is the magnet that pulls the people in asking, Rose, how can I do this? And how can I do that? It's my ability to see their side of it where they can ask me a question and I can say, let's sit down and solve your problem.
Mm,
And I can solve it from their side of the table because I've been there.
right.
And that's why I call it the marinade. It's really prepared me to be able to sit down and look at things and say, you know what? My experience is this, my experience is that. Let's apply my experience to today's problems and see if we can iron this thing out together. And
Right.
that's what's going to bring that relationship building. They call it I'm trying to think of the right word here. Um, Recurring, no, that's the wrong word. I want customer resilience. I want to keep that customer coming to me for a
Oh, a
product.
customer for life kind of
Yeah.
concept. Yeah,
So
well, and the credibility, I think that it's a good term. I love the way you use metaphor, magnet, marinate. Those are very, very, I could get it. I get it. The thing that I love also is that you don't talk about a lot is your credibility. All those 6 years of putting in the time with the patent attorney, and attorneys are hard to work with sometimes, very challenging. Sometimes you wonder, whose side are you on anyway?
yeah,
What's going on here? But you endured 6 years and now you have 9 patents to show for it. Is that what I see here?
seven patents.
7 patents to show for it. And so that's credibility to me, as well as your experience in the trenches, marinating in retail and in construction. So let's talk about your values and community. Out there on LinkedIn, where I found you and you found me, your LinkedIn post says you're a man in need. If there's a man in need of help, you showed strong moral leadership. How do your values really shape your culture? And we talked about that a little bit before we went on air and we started shooting. Your values around how you hire, how you fire. Could you talk to us a little bit about the values that you bring to your business, Bunn Ventures?
Well, sure, absolutely. Um, when a person, we'll use myself as an example, I'm going to be hiring a lot of people. Uh, I really feel that corporations, businesses, big or small, need to look at what the needs are and and look for people who can fulfill the needs. Forget who the people are. Skin color doesn't belong in our society today. Ethnicity doesn't. Where your culture is. None of those things matter. What matters is how can you work together to accomplish something. That's what matters. Uh, I have fired people who are absolutely magnificent producers, and I fired them because they were becoming bullies
Mm,
and they were holding the other people back from performing.
mm,
So they became the bad apple in the bushel. So once the bad apple got out, the rest of the people begin to shine and produce. So you got to have people who are willing to roll up their sleeves, open-minded. Let's make this thing happen. An example I give a lot. I worked in a department store, and the owner asked me. We became friends, okay, and he was a multimillionaire, and he asked me. Every year he had a great big tent sale in August, and he said, "Well, you run my tent sale for me this year." His sale would run Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I said, "Sure." And I proceeded to do things my way. And he had 18 buyer managers working in that department store, and they did nothing but fight.
Mm.
And consequently, it showed in his revenue stream. So, long story short, Saturday morning, the store opened on Saturday morning, the last day of the sale at 9 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, he come and found me, and he said, it took me 3 years to earn $1 million a year. He said it took me 3 years to earn $1 million a month. He said it took me another 3 years to earn $1 million a week. He said, and you just gave me my first $1 million day, and I did it in 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
He said, what did you do? I said, I got the people to quit fighting and joined hands and agreed to work together. That was the key. It's the
Oh, cool.
ability to work together. The
Wow.
synergy that produces is unstoppable. And that's what the corporate people have to have today. You have to look at how you can get along with people, how you can actually work together with an open mind for one purpose, not selfish, but together for the common goal. Good.
So I want to write that down, if you don't mind, Keith.
Oh, go ahead.
3 years to make 1 million. What did he take? It took him 3 years to make 1 million.
It took 3 years to make 1 million a year.
Yep. Then
3 years to make 1 million a month. 3 years to make 1 million a week.
wait, three years to make 1 million a month, and then 3
to make $1 million a week.
a week. And then
And
you did it in a day. Awesome.
I did it in 2 hours.
Or 2 hours. Oh, that's awesome. What a story. Well, I love those. Those values are very ageless, and we can all learn from that. So let's flip over to plumbing. What are the trends? I love trends. I'm a trend spotter. I love to see trends happening in the world. You know, everybody knows we're in an AI boom. Everybody knows that we're in migration. People are moving and shaking. What are the trends happening in plumbing right now?
The trends, I'm going to broaden that scope a little bit and say the trades.
Okay, the trades.
And it's been something that I've been preaching for a long time, is quality workmanship and quality material. And the problem, one of the biggest problems is hindering the industry, the trade industry today, is callbacks. Those callbacks is caused by poor grade products and poor workmanship. And the trend today is finally realizing what I've been saying. Not that I've been out here waving my flag, but I'm reading it now into the trade magazines. There's now saying exactly what I've been saying for years. You got to improve the quality of what you're doing. And you have to stop going for the cheapest part and start going for a quality part. And that's the trend in the market, in the trade markets right now. They're saying we have to spend more for the product so we can get a better product. And we have to start training our people to be better people. Deliver.
Right. Well, you know, one thing I wanted to say, and you bring this up, and I want to talk about the old-fashioned salesman, saleswoman, salesperson.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, a salesperson will come in and talk to you about the quality of the product, talk to you about why it's worth spending more on quality. And we don't have that face-to-face sales rep anymore to explain and teach people who are the purchasing agents and the people who are buying these parts the rigor that goes into it. It's like if you buy everything online and you really don't have anyone educating you on why this is a quality product, you're going to go through, like, as a new purchasing agent, they're going to maybe just drop down to the lowest price because they really just don't even know. And that's Rose's opinion. Or maybe this is my opinion, is we need that sales rep who can explain to the buyer the reason why they want to spend more money, because it's the quality, it's the guarantee, it's the things that you don't see on the website.
I'm chuckling here because you hit the nail right on the head as to why I chose the target I am targeting. You can't go to the box store and get anything because nobody there knows what they're doing. They don't even know how to tie their shoes. Okay, so who's going to really educate the people? Nobody talks about quality. So in my research, the trend on the plumbing industry is that most of the people, I'll put it that way, most of the people will call a plumber to do the work rather than try to tackle it themselves. So who is better educated to teach that consumer than the guy who is actually in business doing it? The plumber. He is my market.
Right.
He can explain to the homeowner, listen, I'm going to give you a pro-grade product here. You're not going to have problems. You're going to have long-term reliability substantially. Not going to have to keep calling me back because it's not going to happen. And he can educate that person as to what they're actually getting. Well, you're not going to get that education from anybody else that's more qualified than a plumber.
Well, hey, now that we're talking about this isn't even on the list of questions. So if I throw a curve, get your curveball mitt ready.
I'm ready.
You're ready? So one of the things that my friend Chris up in Traverse City, who teaches plumbing, Boudet, he told me that because of AI being so prominent in the white collar job market, that the white collar jobs are going to be decreasing by 80%, is what he said. And that the trades, the people that we're going to see a lot more people getting into the trades for improved, employment opportunities. And that's going to be a bit of a pivot in the whole plumbing and automotive or whatever. What is your take on that?
It's layered. I intend on using AI, but I'm not going to use it like probably a lot of people will use it. I think AI has a big place in corporate America today, but not on a national or global so much, but as the corporate problem. You got all the different departments in a corporation. I call them silos. And you have a meeting, you bring all these silos into the meeting, and they can't agree on nothing. Or if you bring the problems to the table and your own little AI program, logarithms, within your confines of your company, and you feed that information into the AI, and they can solve it because they're not taking sides. And they can gel all this information together so everybody gets a piece of the action and they can do it faster than the human can do that. Now you've got all those silos working together because AI has eliminated the negativity
Right.
and the selfishness.
You don't have that bias, that siloed bias. Well, I agree with you there. So let's talk about what's next. What's your big dream milestone for the next, I know that for the next 12 to 24 months, what should listeners keep an eye out for, Bunn Ventures?
Uh, I hope to have my funding by the end of the year. That's my big goal. Once the funding comes, then I'm going to have the funds to go out and start bringing my corporate people in together and putting the company together. From there, we go to the manufacturing and start getting the manufacturing done. I have the rubber company already lined up in Ohio. Is going to make the gaskets. One of the things I have to watch with the gasket is people don't realize the hardest thing on your drain system today is going to surprise you. It's a dishwasher detergent.
Wow. Huh.
That's the hardest thing on a drain system today is that dishwasher detergent. It just eats it up. So the gasket people in Ohio that I will be using, they are a company who makes rubber that lines the chemical tanks. And they will custom make my gasket to withstand the harshness of the drain system that's being put in it. So these are some of the things that I've researched and researched and researched. I research every day. Every day I'm on a computer researching
I
because
can tell. I can see that this is totally your passion. And I want to invite you to come back in about 12 months to give everybody a status of how things are going. And how can people reach out to you? Are you open to having people email you questions, or is it a little bit early days for us to have people connect with you, or are you open to that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I don't trade secrets. I don't talk about personal things. I'm 100% business. If people want to learn, I'm willing to teach. If the people have questions about getting patents, I'm willing to share all the ups and downs that I've gone through. I now have a patent attorney who really understands where I'm at, and things are going a lot better.
Good.
And the deburring that I just got my second patent on that deburring tool, and I had a plumber in Texas, the lady, by the way,
Okay.
and she says, we were talking. I said, what would you think if you had a deburring tool where you could clean the inside of the pipe, the outside of the pipe, put a chamfered edge on it, smooth as silk, square up the cut, and put a bull nose on what's left, all in one operation? She said, "Oh, that'd be beautiful, but you can't do it." I said, "Listen, it's on its way because you're going to get that part. You're going to get
Awesome.
it." And she said,
Awesome. I
"You've
can't
got to
wait.
be."
We've got such a bright future. And I just really want to thank you, Keith, for spending some time with us this afternoon. I'm sure everyone out there in the internets appreciate it too. And
Well,
so, do you promise to come back?
oh yeah, absolutely. If people want to contact me, they can do it through K Bunn Sr. at BunnVentureLLC.com.
Fantastic. And I'll put that in the show notes so they can find that in the notes under the video and under the Spotify and Apple podcast link. And so with that, do you have any last words before we close the podcast?
No, I'm just excited. And I will say this: you are a gold find. You are a gold find for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have, I have nobody I can really talk to about this who really wants to listen. And,
It's fascinating. What's wrong with them? This is huge. And it's not
well,
that complicated. I don't know. I mean, it's very unique, but everybody knows what a pain in it is to have a leaky drain. I mean, for you to fix this is like a new mousetrap to me. I mean, this is huge.
well, the leaky drain was the insurance industry. This is an insurance industry report. Has the damage caused by leaking drain failures has reached a total claim price of $35 billion a year.
What?
Yes. And I'm going
Awesome.
to change that.
Yes. Let's charge like a bull, right?
Yes.
We're going to charge. Well, thank you for the nice words about me. We have a great mastermind. Join us on the mastermind. I'll put that in the show notes too. You'll get me, you'll get Keith, and we'll all just work together to make our businesses grow and thrive. And with that, we're going to call it a day and see you next time, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, Rose. Bye.
Bye, Keith.